The Asheville Museum of Science Summer of Science series is sponsored by Thermo Fisher Scientific, Hedrick Industries, Lancaster Law Firm, Baker Grading and Landscaping, Duke Energy Foundation, and Holston Gases. You can also sponsor our STEM education programs by texting Amos STEM to 44321 or visiting us at ashevillescience.org/support-us. Thank you for your support.
Hello, and welcome to another video for the Summer of Science series with the Asheville Museum of Science. I'm Melody, and I have the absolute pleasure today of speaking with Brent McCall, futurist, founder, CEO, and head coach over at Better Than Unicorns, a local immersive experience production company. Good morning, Brent. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you, Melody.
I'm so sorry. Could you begin by telling us a bit about yourself?
So I started with computer science. I was a self-proclaimed nerd growing up. And in high school, I had an amazing teacher. His name is Mr. Leon Schramm. And he introduced computing in a way that really felt inclusive. After I graduated, there was a big, okay, I'm done with the computer stage. I really want to find out more about how to interact with people. And what I discovered was that people were dynamic, they're intricate, they're interesting, and I was curious. And so I followed that curiosity and kind of abandoned computers. Maybe the irony of ironies is that I ended up going to school to finish my degree at Warren Wilson College. And there where there's not a whole lot of technology focus, but that was where I actually reconnected with computers as a medium that really is like second language for me. It's kind of just second nature for me to be inside of computers and interact with computers. I got into coaching, and in the process of coaching, I was really looking at how do we transform a person from where they are today to where they want to go. Fast forward, and about 3 years ago, I started Better Than Unicorns after breaking my ankle and no longer being an athlete. So I started the company, and now we do team building using virtual reality as the medium for our teams to sort of struggle and fight. And oftentimes we create it so that they can fail and fail in a really safe way and understand what that means to fail fast, fail often, but fail safely so they don't get rejected by their community.
Failure is such an excellent teacher. We absolutely love it here at the Science Museum. Well, I'm going to take a quick break for a message from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
The Amos Summer of Science series is brought to you by Thermo Fisher Scientific. Thermo Fisher is the world leader in serving science. Their mission is to enable customers to make the world healthier, cleaner, and safer. Thermo Fisher Scientific, step up, step beyond. More information at thermofisher.com. And Hedrick Industries, standing for quality and commitment to service. hedrickind.com. The Duke Energy Foundation, committed to making strategic investments to build powerful communities where nature and wildlife thrive, students can excel, and a talented workforce drives economic prosperity for all. duke-energy.com. And Baker Grading and Landscaping, changing the landscape while keeping with nature's flow. bakergrading.com. Lancaster Law Firm, real estate attorneys for realtors, lenders, and homeowners. lancasterlawfirm.com. Holston Gases, your independent supplier of industrial, medical, propane, and beverage gases. holstongases.com. And member and donor support from people like you.
So, Brett, thank you for joining us this morning. Could you explain what is virtual reality? What is spatial computing, these futuristic terms we're hearing?
Spatial computing is the sort of the big pie of this whole medium, right? So the medium's kind of title from my perspective is spatial computing. And what that is distinct from what we're currently doing, which is called paper computing, right? So when computing first started to happen, they were basically trying to take typewriters and turn them into a way that you could actually edit, word processing in a way that was really sophisticated. Well, we're still in that age where the paper has just become a little bit more sophisticated, right? We can use the paper, this portal that we're looking at the world through, we can use that to create worlds on the other side that look 3D, and they look like they're coming at us, and we can kind of get lost in them if we kind of trick our mind a little bit and look through this portal, again, like it's a window in a submarine, and on the other side of it, there's an entire ocean happening. But on this side, we're stuck inside the submarine. Like, I'm stuck in my room, you're stuck in your room, all the viewers are stuck in their rooms, and we're looking at the world through this portal. So spatial computing is when we actually take that lens and we go inside, and now we're inside the ocean, and that ocean is digital. It's computing. The computer is generating it, and in many ways, we're interacting and informing the space in the same way that we might manipulate or inform the space around us. Like if I'm going to take my coffee cup and drink it, you know, that's a way that I'm interacting with physical space, but the computer could see that, right? So virtual reality is what we do, and that's where you take a headset like this, and inside there is a display, like a phone display, and it completely blinds you to anything in this world, this reality, this physical reality, and puts you into a completely digital reality or virtual reality.
No, I really love the submarine and ocean analogy. I think that helps to make a lot of sense for people who might not have experienced VR. The only time I have experienced virtual reality was actually when you brought one of those headsets to the museum. Thank you so much. Could you tell us more about what you do at Better Than Unicorns whenever you run these demonstrations for school students? How do you use science?
Well, a lot of what I focus on is the neuroscience behind how spatial computing actually works. So, you know, terms like proprioception and kinesthesia, these are ways that the body interacts with physical space so that we know, for example, when we're standing vertically. Our body knows that even when our senses, our cardinal senses, are all kind of shut off. So how do we do that in a virtual way? How do we get the digital to make it feel like you're in a space that you're not actually in, right? So one of the games that I play is a zero gravity ultimate Frisbee game. So I'm actually in virtual reality. In my mind, I'm floating around in space, and I'm grabbing onto different players, and I'm grabbing onto stars, and I'm throwing a disc, and all of that is done, you know, with controllers that have me interact with it, and then the headset that feeds me the information. So what we do with teams, a lot of what we did with Amos when we came was we introduced you all to an experience that's called First Contact that Oculus actually made when they released the Quest, and which is the name of this headset. This is the Oculus Quest. It's the one that I would recommend if you're looking at getting a headset. It's definitely the least expensive way to start it up. You don't need a computer or anything to go with it. It's all just built into the headset. You just need open space. And that experience was, there's a computer that interacts with you, and then he introduces you to all these, well, I say he, the computer introduces you to all these different tools and things to play with, and you just play with them. But what happens is there's no language. There's no English, there's no German, no French, nothing that's linguistic. Like the way we interact with paper computing is through language. There's buttons and they have names on them. Like in Zoom, it says leave or it says share screen, right? But in spatial computing, we don't really need that. We can kind of grab a thing and pull it onto our face, and then it reveals something new to us. So there's a lot of like interactions that we got to get familiar with in spatial computing because it is an entirely different medium. It's a little bit false to think about using or getting the same information that we're getting currently through this paper flat computing model that we currently are in, getting that same information into spatial computing, because that same information is going to be delivered differently because it's a different medium.
That is absolutely awesome. Thank you. We are going to take another quick break for our sponsors.
Thank you for tuning in to the Amos Summer of Science series. I'm Rachel Sparks, Board President for the Asheville Museum of Science. We're excited to share this series with friends and supporters. During the pandemic, it's important that we use digital technology to continue the mission of Amos to spark curiosity and a lifelong love of learning. Amos has shared online programs like our Daily Doses of Science and Ask the Scientist over 115,000 times, with over 3,000 science explorers during quarantine. The Summer of Science series will share important science curriculum, and I encourage your support of our programs. Temporarily closing the museum has had a significant impact on our services and our finances, so I'm asking for your support with a donation of $40. That can sponsor 25 online engagements in STEM learning. Some can give more and some less, and any amount you can give will be very helpful. Please go online to ashevillescience.org/support-us or text the number on your screen to donate. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for talking about what you are currently doing and what you came to do at the Science Museum. How awesome. You're a futurist. What do you imagine for the future of this technology?
With virtual reality, one of the things that's been a little bit shocking in the industry is just how slow the adoption has been. And this headset that I keep showing, this one that we rave about, is really significant because it only came out about a year ago. And this was the first time that you could get into virtual reality for less than $500. You didn't have to buy a big tower computer to get into it. And so more and more people are buying these, especially during quarantine when people are sort of stuck at home and they're looking for something to do. This is a really great alternative. And so getting that mass adoption is really is probably the most unpredictable part of spatial computing is adoption. But if you throw ourselves into like 5-10 years into the future when most everybody is carrying one of these around in the same way that they're carrying one of these around. That's coming. And eventually what that means is that these can become smaller and smaller because we will use displays to project onto surfaces where we used to have displays like this computer monitor. We'll start to use surfaces like our desk as our keyboard, as our inputs. We'll start to interact in ways that are more holographic, right? So those projection tools will potentially project you into my space in a 3D way where I could see you like Princess Leia, talking with me right here. And then in your world, you're seeing me as Princess Leia, this tall or this tall in the same space. But in your world, it's a little bit different because you're getting the projection. And in my world, it's different because I'm getting the projection. Now that's just the human. Now, what about us being in the same physical space together? So what if that same projection could actually project my room and your hologram and your awareness could actually be in the room with me, but physically we're not in the same room. Holographically, you're in the room with me so I could see you, but you could actually see my entire space. So this is going to be an exciting thing because now all of a sudden, engineers that are troubleshooting a specific problem in a place they can't get to, they'll be able to just put a headset on and be there with the person that needs the help and then be able to help solve the problem. They won't be able to actually touch anything. They won't be able to grab a tool or do anything like that, but they could go over to it and say, this part right here, push that button, or unscrew that screw, or now clip this wire. So they're actually doing this today with bomb defusal. So whenever there's a bomb that's diffused, they now can send robots and drones, and those drones are controlled by virtual reality.
Thank you so much. You have given us so much to think about and some fun rabbit holes to jump down for people to do their own research. We really appreciate your support of the Science Museum. We love local scientists who are willing to get involved, and we hope to talk to you again soon sometime, Brett. Have a good day.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Bye-bye, everybody.